Yo, what's going on with y'all, man? Well, it's the first episode of the podcast, CRASHOUT Angels. So today we're gonna do things a little different for the first time. I'm gonna introduce myself. Y'all can get to know me better. As time get to progress, we gonna, things are gonna be done differently. Things are gonna change. Y'all gonna see new people. Bear with me, right? So, first, I'm going to tell you about myself. My name is Montrell, right? I'm 37. Born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I have an 18-year-old daughter named Rihanna. She'll be 19 in September. I have my son, Kyriel. He passed away next month, August 24th. It'll be 3 years he been gone. If he was alive, he'll be 16. He passed when he was 13 from an asthma attack in this house. Then I have an 11-year-old named Mariah. She'll be 12 in November. And then I have a 10-year-old son, Avion. He'll be 11 in December. Let's see. What made me want to do this podcast? Well, what made me want to kind of do this is I was going through a lot as far as like losing my son. And, I stayed in bed. I wouldn't get out of bed. I wouldn't do a lot of things, man. I was depressed. I was using drugs at that point. And, I was so distraught because of my son. And one thing we're going to talk about is grief, right? If you don't have the right people around you, when you lose a loved one, it's going to be a long journey. And that's why it's always right. It's always good to have the right people around you. If they ain't to your liking and they ain't positive and they don't do you how you do them, man, get them out your life, man. Man, we don't need that. We don't need that. We ain't doing none of that. We reputables. We ain't got no smut on our names. We ain't judging nobody. We don't care about what you did last week. We don't care about none of that, man. Today a new day. And that's why I did this. I wanted to start this podcast too. Hey, nobody bigger than the program, right? And I don't gatekeep or none of that. And I was in different Facebook groups, and they was, people would see my stuff going viral, and they'd kick me out the group. And I used to always wonder, like, dang, why would they do that? Hey, we don't know why people do a lot of stuff, but they do it, right? But the page is called, the podcast is going to be called, CRASHOUT Angels. Now, bear with me, y'all. Now, I will be talking about current events, drug addiction, drug sobriety, drug recovery, grief, entertainment news, past and current, relationships, poly relationships, parenting, mental health, and much, much more. I'll also have guest appearances, all different types of stuff. Now, I'm not making money off this content, so I will be pinning my Cash App, and whatever you choose to donate, that's what you choose to donate. It ain't no pressure. But if you donate, it will go towards making this page better, and different stuff. And if you donate, you gotta say so in this platform, what we talk about. I'm looking for moderators. I'm looking for people to help me, run the page, After a while, the podcast will be filmed live, but for now, it's pre-recorded, But we're gonna talk about a number of things. July 28th, I will be clean 4 months from drugs. Now, I don't consider marijuana, me personally, I don't consider marijuana a drug. They are legalizing it every year in different states, right? I use serious drugs, and we're gonna get into that down the line, not today, right? But so that I feel like an advocate. I have to be an advocate for sobriety just because of what I went through, right? I used drugs for my whole adult life, abusing them. When I wake up in the morning, I gotta get high. I gotta use, celebrating, use. Argument with my girlfriend, depressed, any excuse that I had, I would use, right? Any excuse, it didn't matter. Every day, I couldn't even go do stuff with my kids without getting high first. I felt like I couldn't enjoy myself until I got high. You feel me? Now I do, now I do art. I try to do stuff that, occupy my time. Sometimes I do art. I painted this. And that's what, on this podcast, we're going to do different things, It ain't, like I said, don't put me in one box. We're going to do art. I painted this. Let me turn this light off for y'all. I painted this bird. Now, these birds represent the 3 stages in my life, right? Let me get them. These birds represent the 3 stages. Okay, this one first. This is the stage when I was on drugs. I was crashing out and everything, right? And yes, I painted all of these birds. So this bird represents when I was crashing out, right? This bird represents when I start to change my life around, right? But I'm not quite there yet. I'm almost there. And this is my favorite one. I love this one. And this bird represents right here when I'm finally cleansed and I'm finally doing everything right. I'm not here yet, but I'm almost there. But I this podcast, we're gonna do art. I got some diamond art. We're gonna all the stuff that all the stuff that them guys over there don't want to talk about. We're gonna talk about it here. We're gonna talk about them tough topics. We're gonna talk about kids. We're gonna talk about the difference between the old generation and now. The world is changing, man. It's changing. And this podcast, this ain't gonna be no 5 minutes. Like, this gonna be at least 30 minutes, and it's gonna be daily. We're gonna talk about different things, but when I'm not on here, I'm gathering what I'm gonna talk about on the podcast. I got me. Where's it? Okay. Where is it at? Oh, here we go. I keep a journal, so I write my stuff in. And it's cool to have a journal. Don't let nobody say, oh, that's corny, oh, that's gay, you got a journal. We ain't doing that over here, man. We ain't doing no stereotypes. We ain't doing none of that. You can do that over there. We ain't judging nobody. Everybody welcome. Everybody, right? So that's a little about me. Like I said, I'm 37. My birthday, February 17th. Yeah, I'm Aquarius, the best sign out there. Yeah, give it up for Aquariuses. And every day when we start this podcast, we're gonna give thanks to the Lord, give thanks to God. We're gonna give it up for the people that's not here. We're gonna give it up for all the people that's not here. You feel me? We're gonna give it up for the people that's not here, for the loved ones. Man, and we just we're gonna push to make ourselves better. We're gonna push for better days, and just all that. Now, yeah, excuse my hair, right? Excuse my hair. I got an appointment next week to get it done. Best believe, but I ain't bald-headed. I am not bald. Long hair don't care, baby girl. We ain't gonna focus on that, though. We ain't gonna focus on that. But, okay, a little bit more about me, right? I have a big sister. My big sister is 39. I'm 37. I have a little sister that is 36. And I have a little brother that's 32, I think, about to be 33. And we all age well. Like, tomorrow, my mom's birthday, I ain't gonna tell you her age because she might not want y'all to even know, right? But just know, we all look good for our age, right? Now, people always ask me, right? My bad, y'all. I'm sorry. See, and the podcast, you know, this is live and direct, you know. But hey, but yeah, my mom's birthday tomorrow. You know, we all look young. I remember when I used to be young and being with my mom sometimes, right? People would come up to me trying to sell me flowers, like, "Hey, want to buy a flower for your woman?" Woman, it's my mama. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, sorry, woo woo. So we all age well, all of us, you know. This CBD, don't even worry about that. We ain't even gonna trip on that, right? But we gon', you know, I always tell people this, man. If you ain't part of the solution, you part of the problem. So when we talk about on this podcast, you know, on this page, on this channel, is to make the world better, right? Now, I have a Facebook page. My Facebook page name is Anthony Miller. ANTHONY Miller. MILLER. Then I have a YouTube channel called CRASHOUT Angels. I will be posting that and pinning that. I put content on both. You get what I'm saying? On both. Of course, I spend majority of my time on my Facebook, right? But you have to, you know, when this podcast start picking up, you need to know where to catch me at. You feel me? Let's see. I'm trying to think of stuff that y'all might want to know. You know, I'm trying to introduce myself so y'all, you know my story, right? But, you know, a lot of the reasons why I chose to do this, like I said, I watched my son take his last breath. I seen him take his first breath in this world. I cut his umbilical cord. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Who cares? I seen him take his first breath in this world and his last breath, you know. And he passed because of an asthma attack, right? And I always say it could be worse, right? I know kids that died from other stuff. I know kids that died alone. My son died surrounded around family and love. He died in his room, surrounded by us, you know. And it's something I battle and I deal with every day, but I'm learning to handle it better. Like I said, this month will be my 4-month anniversary. Be my 4-month anniversary that I've been clean. You know, and I've accomplished more in this 4 months than I have in 5 years, right? I stay away from negative people. You know, I believe in cross transfer of energy or bad energy. So if you're around somebody that got bad energy, it would cross and transfer to you. And now you having a bad day. Now, I don't even like to deal with people unless they on the same page that I'm on. Unless they on something positive, trying to do something positive with their life. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, that's that, right? When I was going through grieving my son, I didn't have people in my side to say, hey, you know, to check on me. Hey, you okay? You good? I didn't have that, right? So I know what it's like. So I'm gonna be the first one to tell y'all, I'm there for all my followers, all y'all. Hey, if I know that it's going on, oh, best believe your big homie there for you. I'm there for you. I mess with you. I mess with all y'all, right? I have a baby on the way. The crazy thing is, you know, my son that passed, his mother, we have been trying to have a baby since we brought Avion home. He's 10 now. So we've been trying for 10 years. And, you know, she couldn't get pregnant. I don't know why. And then in January, we found out she was pregnant. She will be 8 months pregnant today. Today, she's 8 months pregnant. So this baby is coming. This is a miracle baby. You know, I just wish my son Kyriel was here to meet him, you know, but, you know, he here in spirit, so, you know, but, you know, every day when I do this podcast, I won't be talking about, I might talk about a little bit about myself, but, you know, it's going to be about the stuff that I know. It's going to be about entertainment news, current events, what happened since the last time I talked to y'all. You know, it's gonna be stuff like that. I'm bringing y'all in my world. And we gonna figure this thing out. I don't care how old you is, man. I learn from everybody. I learn from kids. I learn from babies. I learn from adults. But sometimes I feel like, man, I feel like I'm stuck in a world where more than half the people don't get it, man. Like, you ever like see people do some shit and it be people close to us? You be like, man, what the fuck? Like, you wasn't taught this? How the fuck you don't know this? Like, man, my grandma used to always say, God rest her soul, common sense ain't so common no more. And she wasn't lying. And I always tell people, hey, 2 plus 2 gonna always be 4. It's gonna always be 4. I bullshit you not. But yeah, sometimes on this page, on this, you'll see me take walks. I like to walk. I like to see things. Like I said, don't put me in one box. I'm talking about everything that them other guys don't want to talk about. We reputables over here. We ain't putting no smut on nobody's name. We ain't putting no dirt on nobody's name. We not doing that. We ain't doing that because he don't like him and he don't like him. We not doing that. We ain't getting involved in none of that, man. We trying to preach positivity. We trying to preach longevity, man. We trying to preach it all. Anything positive, anything good. We trying to preach a good time. You feel me? My personal opinion, I think one thing other than life, that one of the beautifulest things that God created other than life is the woman. A woman. A female. Man, my first love in this world is a woman. I love women. I swear. Like, I love women, right? And I'd have been close to poly relationships, right? I didn't have my share of threesomes or whatever, but, and I said this the other day, like, I believe I'm too much for one woman. And somebody was like, wait, what do you mean by that? Don't you mean you're too much for a woman to handle? Or something they said, and I said, no, I meant what I said. I'm too much for one woman, right? I don't know how to put it, but like, I love women. I love women. I'm telling you, if I'm in a relationship and a woman walk past, I'm looking with my woman. And if I can't, we ain't even good for each other. I want to be able to look at a beautiful woman with my woman. Like, baby, don't she look good? Look at her body. And then I want to proceed and tell my woman, hey, go holler at her. Let's go bring her home. Man, listen, you live one life. We live one life, right? 24 hours in one day. 8 of them hours you sleep. Another 8, you go to school or you work. That leave 8, right? What you gonna do? All right. I'm just saying, man. I love women, man. That's the most beautifulest thing God could have created, man. Is women. But we ain't gonna dwell on that. We gonna keep it pushing. They out there. I just, hey, I love you women, and I just want to say, if they don't appreciate you, baby, I appreciate you. I do. Now y'all probably say, man, he got on the hoodie. Why you got on the hoodie in the house? Man, listen, I like to be comfortable, right? I got the AC on, This gonna come off at some, it's gonna come off at some point. Y'all might see me pause the video, boom, come back on. Yeah, now where was we? You get what I'm saying? But this podcast gonna go from 30 minutes, anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes, though. But yeah, and then I'm still learning. Like, I got a computer. I'm learning, right? And if anybody that's close to me in the Milwaukee area and you want to help me or you can teach me some things, inbox me or comment where I can get in contact with you, because I'm still learning. Listen, I ain't like them other people where you see they feel like they got to have a team, right? Hey, I'm by myself and I'm learning this shit on my own. But I'm telling you, this shit it's going to take off at some point. Anything that you do and consistent with, right? Anything you consistent with, you're going to get results. You're going to get good results, right? We ain't talking about nothing negative because we don't do that. So we don't even bring it up. We don't even bring up no negativity. You get what I'm saying? And I tell people, the streets ain't for everybody. That's why they made the sidewalk. But yeah, man. I was trying to tell these YNs the other day, like, man, you know, when you in the streets, you know, and I'm speaking from first-hand knowledge, when you in the streets, the game sends you a bill. You know, you don't just get out of the, you don't just get out the game. You don't just get out the streets, right? But the game sends you a bill. The game sends you a bill, right? And the game sent me a bill, right? And it was addiction. I really thought I was going to be able to sell drugs in my community and thought I was going to be able to walk away and enjoy the money. No. God said no, no way. God sent, the game sent me a bill, right? And the bill was the same money I made in the streets, I gave back because of my own addiction. You see how, and it's crazy. It's crazy. I was spending $100 a day on my addiction, on my habit, every fucking day. And you think these, man, you think these drug dealers, you think they care? First of all, when I got clean, you think anybody reached out to me, anybody I spent money with and said, hey, bro, I'm proud of it? No, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. Because you stopping, guess what? That's hurting their pockets. So I know it was a lot of frowns when I left all that shit alone. I knew it was, right? But I got an awesome God. How can you not be happy for me? How can you not? I've been through enough already. I done buried my son. How can you not be happy for me? And what's crazy, you know, if you look me up, you know, if y'all Google my name, Anthony Miller, ANTHONYMILLER. Hey, I don't give a fuck. Hey, people be like, hey, man, you telling people a business. Hey, man, my credit's so fucked up. If you use my shit, you're gonna owe. You can't do shit with my shit, right? But if you look me up, you'll see articles on my son, on me and my son, because the news, People magazine picked up my son's story. Hold on, guys.